And hello there, my little mathematicians. We are going to be reviewing how to add mixed numbers. A mixed number is when you have both a whole number and a fraction. All right, the different things that can happen. Let's take a look at that bottom row first. And remember, anytime you want to try a number that we go over, hit pause on the video, and then once you're finished, hit play, and then you can check your work. All right, number 9. Let's start with this one. Remember, when you're adding fractions, you need to get a common denominator. So what can 3 and 2 both become? They can both become 6. So that would be my common denominator. Now, what did you multiply 2 by in order to become 6? A 3. So do the same thing on top, and 1 times 3 is 3. Remember that 3 6 is equivalent to 1/2, because if you were to reduce 3 6, you get the same fraction. That's why we could do this, because we essentially multiplied by 1. Any number over itself is 1. And when you multiply anything by 1, it keeps its sense of identity. It's still the same number, or it's equivalent to itself. All right, let's move on to the top fraction. 3 times what was 6? 2. So multiply by the same thing to the numerator. 1 times 2 is 2. Now you have common denominators, so keep that the same and add the numerators. 2 plus 3 is 5. Now don't forget about those whole numbers out in front. 6 plus 5 is 11. If you could reduce this fraction, reduce it. Nope. If it was improper, which means the top number is bigger than the bottom number, then you would change that. Nope, we're good. This is as far as we can go. So 11 and 5, 6 is the final answer for number 9. Let's move on to a little bit of a harder one. Let's do number 8. What can 6 and 12 both become? That's right. They can both become 12. Now, if you chose a bigger number than 12, that's fine. You would just have to reduce it later on at the end of the problem. Remember, the easiest way for me is I look at the bigger of the two denominators and I think, can 6 become 12? If yes, there you go. If not, well, 12 times 2 is 24. Can 6 become 24? It sure can. Okay. 12 times what is 12? 1. So 4 times 1 is 4. 6 times what is 12? 2. So 3 times 2 is 6. Now that you have equivalent fractions with the same denominator, let's go ahead and combine them. Keep the denominator the same, add the numerators. 6 plus 4 is 10. And then don't forget about those whole numbers in front. 8 plus 2 is 10. Now, unlike last time, this time we can reduce this fraction. What can go into both 10 and 12? 2 can. Please always take the 2 seconds to write what you're dividing by. You'll make less errors that way. Keep your whole number in front, and 10 divided by 2 is 5, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. Can you reduce it again? Nope. Is it proper? Yep. You're done. Okay, now the trickiest thing that I think that happens in these problems is represented in number 7. So let's take a look. In problem number 7, okay, let's get our common denominator of 6 and 8. Bigger number is 8. Can 6 become 8? No, it cannot multiply to become that. So 8 times 2 is 16. Can 6 become 18? Or sorry, 16? No. Okay, 8 times 3 is 24. Can 6 become 24? Yes, it can. That means they both can become 24. If you don't like doing it that way, of course, you could always do the LCM rule. Remember, you put them both there. What can go into both 6 and 8? 2 can. So 2 times what is 6? 3. 2 times what is 8? 4. Can you keep going? No, they only have a GCF of 1, so you're done. So now you multiply all the numbers along the outside that make your L for LCM. 2 times 3 is 6. And 6 times 4 is 24. There you go. That was your common denominator. You can always do that trick if you want to get your common denominator, if you don't like doing it in your head like I did when I first wrote down the 24s. Okay, now 8 times what? How did we get 24? Oh, by multiplying it by 3. So do the same thing on top. 3 times 3 is 9. What did you multiply the 6 by to get 24? A 4. So do the same thing on top, and 5 times 4 is 20. Now 20 plus 9 is 29. Over, keep the denominator the same. Don't forget to combine your whole numbers out in front. 9 plus 7 is 16. This is the first time where we're dealing with an improper fraction right here. So to get rid of that improper fraction, I'm going to change colors so it stands out some more. You take the top number, 29, and divide it by the bottom number. Remember, inside the house, outside the house, in and out, or top dog goes inside. Okay, 24 goes into 29 once. When you subtract that, you get 5. So you put your remainder over what you divided by. That means that you still had the 16 here, but 29 over 24 is the same thing as 1 and 5 24ths. So let's go ahead and combine those. The whole number is 16 plus 1 is 17, and then keep the fraction the same of 5 24ths. Good job if you got those 3 right, because that's all the different types of things that can happen within these problems when you're adding mixed numbers. If you didn't get all those right and you want some more practice, go ahead and try the rest. And here are the answers. You can hit pause, go ahead and try them out, and then check yourself and see if you got them right. Good job at mastering yet another standard of adding mixed numbers.